Hello everyone, my name is Abdulmajid Ahmed Abdi and my research partners are Hiba and Hamda. Our research took place in Hargeisa, Somaliland. So Somaliland is located in the Horn of Africa. It is bordered by Ethiopia and Djibouti. Somaliland gained independence from the recognized Somalia in 1991. The capital city of Somaliland is Hargeisa. Hargeisa has a population of 1.2 million. Hargeisa has undergone massive construction boom for the last 2 decades in terms of building environment and construction, where we see single family houses being built massively right here. And throughout the city, we see billboards that display single-family houses as the perfect housing typology. So what we're trying to understand is why single-family houses is so popular, how single-family houses came to be, what are other single-family house typologies, how do they compare, and how do they compare? So the argument is that single-family houses came from the huts and it morphed throughout time. And now we take a look at the nomadic hut.
We look at the plan of a Somali or a nomadic hut, which is the first housing typology that we're going to look at in our research. These nomadic huts were built in the past and continue to be built even today in both the countryside and in the city. In this plan, we see these sticks surrounding the property, creating a wall that provides a sense of privacy, enclosure, and ownership for the people. It also creates a courtyard, an outdoor space for the family that can be used for various different purposes or reasons. Inside the hut, we can see different huts in different scales. The main hut being the space where the family uses to sleep and rest. In this specific plan, this other hut is used as a kitchen. But also in other plans of Aqal Somalis, we can find other huts that can be used for different purposes. Outside the hut, we see another space, where animals are kept in the countryside. This space is important in a plan of Aqal Somali, as almost every family in the countryside owns a number of livestock. It also becomes important, so because of that, the presence of water and pasture in the area becomes important. So people move from one place to another looking for that. And they use lightweight materials to construct these huts that they can easily put up together and take apart whenever they're moving or whenever they need to. So alol, which is an indigenous tree, is used as the structure that's holding up the hut. And then it's covered with this beautiful fabric that's been weaved and made by the Somali women. Here we can see pictures of Somali women making and weaving these beautiful patterns. Here is a picture of an exterior of a hut. We also see here the inside or the interior of a hut. Now, in contrary, in the city, people live in huts only because, or mainly because of financial reasons. So not so much attention and detail is paid into the fabric or the material that they use to construct their huts in the city. Instead, they use corrugated metal sheets and piece of old clothing, and they stitch them up together to cover or make their huts. Here we can see a house that's been made completely out of corrugated metal sheets, but it also still has sticks inside to hold up working as a structure. And then it's covered with this cloth that's been stitched up together. because it's more fixed in the city and people don't need to move from one place to another, they can expand their plan and add more elements. As the specific hut that we visited, we can see that the family setting up a small shop at the corner of their house to they have like this ability to expand their plan and add more elements to it. Now, around the same time, another housing typology was developed. It first started to appear, which is the old single-family house. It first started to appear during the British colonial administration. So the British colonial administration built these houses, and it was mainly used by the people that worked for the colonial administration. The British also around that time introduced the use of new materials, such as the stone that's been used to construct these houses. Because despite being expensive, it also provided like insulation and durability that most of the houses that's been built back then still stand today. Later on, people used different materials to construct it, to construct these houses. Clay blocks were used when cement blocks weren't available, and then now when cement blocks are cheap and available, it's massively used in the construction industry. And then these old single-family houses bricks were used to construct them, and then stone is cladded on top of it, as we can see this picture, to kind of like still have that decorative exterior. In the plan of an old version of single-family house, we see again the courtyard, but now it's inside the house. We also see the kitchen moving along with the courtyard inside the house. In this space, the courtyard works as a ventilation system. It also creates a private, small space that can be gathered, which is enclosed from the public. These old versions of single-family house were mainly built downtown the city, or the old Hargeisa. So when the city expanded and the population also grew, people started to move to the outskirts of Hargeisa. A new typology came about, which is the new version of the single-family house, such as this one shown in this picture. The context of the outskirts of Hargeisa provided new facilities for the single-family houses, such as the ones that we can see in this map. We can see sports fields and shopping malls, things like that are not mainly present in the downtown, are also accommodated into their context. We can see the plan here, the newer version of the single-family house. Interestingly, we see the courtyard is being moved out of the house, and now we have these perimeter walls surrounding this space. And then we have this courtyard. And then also the kitchen moves outside the house into the courtyard. Now, through this journey of these 4 housing typologies, we notice a couple of things or elements that are present in the nomadic huts that has also been transferred throughout these 4 housing typologies. So first being in a hut, we see these beautiful fabric material used for the exterior to make it more decorative. Somehow, we also see the perimeter wall of a newer version of single-family house, also cladded with this beautiful patterns of stone, to also keep that decorative or appearance of the exterior. We also notice how the courtyard and the kitchen working together, moving outside and inside the house. In the huts and also in the single family house. Also notice the kitchen being moved outside into the courtyard in the newer version of the single family house, same as the huts in the Aqal Somali. Interestingly, throughout Hargeisa, we also find these hero in front of the single family houses, same as the ones that we find in Aqal Somali where animals are kept. So now on a final note, we say the newer version of single family house that had been built massively for the last couple of decades has emerged from elements that are present in the Aqal Somali and also has transferred through these 4 housing typologies combined with a Western ideology of single family house.
Making these chunks is to draw out near perspective of familiar building types for wide public. This spaces bring out the feeling of home in the single family house because it's where families meet the most. Hospitality is very crucial in Somali culture, that it has become obligatory among the people. We often see these spaces in Somali household that are very formal and a lot of attention is paid to make it presentable for guests and events. If we go back to the nomadic hut, you will see that even back then, it was obligatory to have such a space. We have the big tree as a presentable space for people or events. Even during the process of making the photogrammetry, my mom was there telling me to organize the space so it looks very neat and presentable for the people that see in the photogrammetry. Even with no physical guests, the elements of Somali hospitality is still there.